Today's show is brought to you by...
This program is made possible by the checkbook of Mr. Todd Burns and by contributions to our newly launched Patreon by viewers like you. Visit patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and join our community. Thank you.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Welcome to the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, visit homebrewhappyhour.com and click on the submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call or text them in by using 325-305-6107. I am your host, Joshua Stubing, and today I am joined by the Director of Operations at CMBecker.com, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the always lovable and huggable Chief Keg Washer and President of Kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns. This is the best. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here.
It's so nice to all be together again.
I wouldn't want to be
instead of being at separate days.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
It's wonderful.
It was actually your idea for us to do it this way because I was like,
now you know why.
I thought, we'll record it Wednesday when I'm back home, and we'll publish it Thursday, like a Thanksgiving special, even though no one's going to be listening to this on Thanksgiving. Or if you do, it's going to be a terrible car ride to grandma's.
Or stuck in the snow somewhere.
Stuck in the snow somewhere.
Not here. It's 80 degrees right now.
I was going to say, I am burning up, and I think I'm actually wearing the same shirt I wore on last week's episode. I'm kind of a one-trick pony. But Todd was like, while you're here, let's just record it. And I brought up equipment we always have some equipment here.
Yeah.
You record out of your office and you record out of my office usually. And I didn't bring enough for everyone. So I'm using this nice little lapel mic, which actually I've been impressed with. I wish I could get Rode to sponsor this podcast. Maybe I'll work on that. But their wireless Go has been real impressive. And then we have all the mobile setup. So barring some catastrophic incident with the camera right there, this should be good to go. We have a lot to talk about. We have, last week I was mentioning the holiday gift guide. I recorded one with Joe. We were talking about if you can kind of see all around us are all-in-ones on this wall. We have work chillers on this wall. Over there is kegs, all in this photography room. There's a lot of options for the holiday for people to get into brewing and upgrade their existing brew system, or gift for people to get into brewing, like extract kits, recipes. We have a lot of that. So if you go on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, you can see the holiday gift guide that Joe and I did. And there'll be links in all the videos too. If you're interested, it is that time of the year for kind of the best deals on this kind of stuff. So I would say, if you've been waiting to pull the trigger, you should do it now because it doesn't get better. It's really weird how this one time of the year this just happens. And then the rest of the year, we all pretend like it didn't. Like it's so like everybody in every industry, they, I don't know if you follow, I know you probably do because of all the international business that you do. Alibaba, I think, was that the site that has Singles Day, or which one?
I think it is Alibaba.
Because
that's the spot I check to see who's copying our stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That
happens a lot.
It's funny, but it's not funny at all. But Alibaba's the one, I think it's Singles Day, that did like $3 billion in like a 12-hour period of all the different, it's like Amazon, but not. And like you said, of overseas ripoffs is what I kind of know Alibaba as. I haven't found a reason to buy anything off it yet, but maybe I'll go find some CMB Shunkenlagen.
They will be on there. They'll be our copies.
That's what I mean. Oh, that's the worst. Before we get into today's show, we have some visuals here. I did want to talk about Todd and I posted it on our Instagram. I don't even know how it came up, the weight loss challenge.
Yes.
We have decided between the two of us that we're fat. It's kind of observational. It's not debatable, but I don't remember how the challenge came up as much as like you were going to do dry January.
Yes.
like you always do, or you usually do. And I was like, oh, let's just do it with dry January, and we can lose weight together.
Then I remembered I was going to Germany with James at the end of the month.
Yeah, so first we decided we'll do dry January together, and then somehow it morphed into, well, I'll lose more weight than you. No, I'll lose more weight than you. Okay, we made a contest, and then immediately after we agreed, a gentleman's handshake agreement, by the way, you immediately go, well, wait a second, I'm going to be in Germany with James. I don't want to be dry.
That's the end of the month.
Yeah. Well, we'll be fine. We got it all worked out, though.
So the details, no, because I want the listeners to hold.
I don't really think they care.
No, well, they're gonna because there's $100 on the line, but I don't care what you think.
No, if you go out of the country, it doesn't count, right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
No, I think that's infidelity. But anyway,
same thing.
we $100 on the line. We're starting today. Today is day one. We're going through the end of the year. Or technically just the 30th is our weigh-in. Todd weighed in at 247 because you were 245 yesterday, and we joked about we'll weigh in the morning to make it official. And I said, oh, I'm going to gain 5 pounds. I was chugging stouts and whatever. And Todd goes, oh, I'm going to gain weight. I weighed 192, which is really heavy for me. And this morning I weighed 192. Wow. And I was like, what the crap? All that food and beer for nothing.
You looked fatter this morning. I don't know what happened.
I felt fatter this morning.
Yeah.
You weighed 2 more pounds this morning. I'm still not convinced that you didn't cheat.
I drank some water. I told you.
You don't gain 2 pounds with water.
I'll prove it.
It's
to you
those
next
steel-toe
time.
boots.
It is so still. Yeah, we were barefoot. We not quite naked, but we butt down. So we have that going on. I wanted to do before and after photos, but he didn't want to take his clothes off for the before photos. So
You never said that.
Oh,
I'm just making that up.
so
I'll do it right now.
No.
oh gosh. I guess the real reason I bring it up is I want video evidence that Todd agreed to this challenge with me, and I'm ready to take your money.
$100,
It's going to be the easiest $100 I've ever won in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good. And last week, we got a lot of people writing into us about the New Belgium acquisition. That I don't think we brought it up last week's episode. Quick thoughts on that. Good for them. I don't know if you all have any quick thoughts on New Belgium selling out to Kieran's Little Line World Beverages.
Yeah.
I think I was surprised.
As long as it's not InBev,
Yeah, as long, right? I was surprised they did, just because remember when we toured, if you have never been there, they're very vocal about community owned.
Employee
Owned, pardon me. They're about being employee owned, and they were very employee centric. Wow. So with even that being said, I'm assuming everyone had to vote on it. So it had to be.
I don't even know who the company is that bought them.
Kieran owns this company that ended up buying them.
Oh, the Kirin, like the Japanese beer?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was a big deal. And people online have, you know how it goes with these kinds of sales. Yeah. It's very polarizing. There are some people who are like, as long as the beer doesn't change, and as long as it's, the same delicious recipe like Fat Tire, whatever, who cares? I hope they don't raise the prices. And then there's the other end that are like, they're dead to me.
Hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
Right. Which I guess my mindset is the former in regards to like, hey man, I bet you some people made some good money.
Yeah.
They're still making good beer, I hope. Homebrew Supply had the Fat Tire clone on sale. Best sale ever. Like in regards.
Oh, really? I bet that's right.
It's
Yeah.
so like because I was kind of in the email. It was very much like, oh, are you bummed about the merger? Brew your own.
I love it.
It went over well. And then obviously my weekly reminder before we get into the show that for Patreon members, this Friday, Black Friday at 1 p.m. Central, Jason Chalifer from Muntins is joining me to take your questions on recipe building, on anything malt related or anything homebrewing related. We're very lucky that a lot of our friends that come on the show and in the industry can answer a wide variety of questions. Like when Lorena was on, you could have thrown anything at her.
She's
and Jason's great.
And Jason's
super nice guy, very knowledgeable. He'll be really good.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I didn't ask either one of y'all to join because it's the day after. And Black Friday here is like the most ridiculous, crazy day ever. So it'll probably just be me and Jason, but if someone hops in, then added surprise. But that is for all levels of our Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, you can see all the different levels. For as little as $1 a month, you can join our video live Q&As we do, as well as a ton of other perks. We ship out recipes every month. This month's the Northern English Brown Ale. Next month is the Dunkelweizen for December. And I'm really pumped. The Patreon, as it's growing and more interaction, it's just a cool way. I'm really liking every day connecting with people in our community. Sure. It's not like I thought at first, like, oh, it's going to be weird because these people give me money and how am I supposed to act about that? But it's not. It's very like, oh, they're like my friends.
Yeah, there's value in that. You know, if you're going to get a kit, if you're on a certain tier, that chances are that's no different in price than the kit.
Well, I was going to say, people who are better at math than I am, and obviously Todd, because he allowed me to do it, are realizing the value of the $50 a month.
I mean, that's a great deal.
Thanks, boss. So yeah, that's enough Patreon talk. He already looks bored. So today's show, we have some visuals because the theme of it, we got a couple of questions in about faucets. People, when they're on their kegging kits, we get asked all the time when they're building out their keezer, like what to upgrade to or what to use in general. And then people who've been kegging forever, commercial or homebrew beer, it's very common that faucets are sometimes the cause of problems, or they're the solution to problems, or they are just faucets are a visual centerpiece of a tower or of a shank, keezer type setup, and they affect your experience more than a lot of the other components can. So
absolutely.
I have two questions, and I took them so that I could give gift cards to both of you guys. But I'm going to read them both, and then we'll have the discussion like on both of the questions. So question number one came from Alan. He used the submission form at homebrewhappyhour.com. Alan wrote, I'm looking to upgrade my keezer faucets and would like to know the differences between flow control and non-flow control faucets. One thing I do know is that flow control is expensive. What else do I need to know? Thanks. And then the second question is from Jackie, also used the submission form at homebrewhappyhour.com. Jackie wrote, my husband and I have been brewing for a little over a year now and have been bottling our batches since the beginning. To be short, we are tired of bottling. Your show has convinced us to start kegging and we want to do it with our best foot forward. Specifically, I'm referring to faucets. Could you please tell us the main differences between some of the most popular faucets? Because I know you guys will push me towards CMBecker faucets, but I want to know why. We love the show all the way from Toronto, Jackie and Paul. Hey, Canadians watch. By the way, we do really well in Australia. I think I've told y'all that.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lots of homebrewers there.
A lot of homebrewers there. In Canada, I don't know if I've taken a question from someone that I knew was in Canada, but
yeah, that's cool.
I'd love to go to Toronto sometime.
Yeah,
but anyway, so faucets. So let's start maybe from Alan's first part. Flow control and non-flow control. It's not a deal breaker to not have flow control, but it can be a deal breaker to not have a good faucet.
Sure.
So like,
why don't we do this? I'll explain the non-flow control, and we'll get James to explain the flow control.
And I'll sit here and I'll look pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sit here.
I mean, you're fat at
eye
least.
candy right there.
I'm on the exercise ball.
Oh, good,
I'm
good,
losing
good.
weight as we speak.
So you want me to just jump right into it?
Yeah, please do. Okay. Explain the non-flow control.
Okay. So, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll explain the non-flow control and the competitor's flow control. How about that? There we go.
And this is a good reminder. If you're listening to the audio-only version, check out the video version to see the visuals, or at least the show notes at homebrewhappyhour.com. But go ahead, Todd.
So I'm going to try to explain it in a way that people that never go to look at the video will understand. But when I take apart the standard faucet, what you will find is a faucet design, and we're going to do some close-ups of this, which will allow the seal to happen in the back of the faucet. And when you do that, you end up with a fairly large area in the middle here where there's beer stuck. And that beer, if it sits for very long at all, it tends to start going a little bit, getting a little bad, and you have some odor issues, some taste issues. Of course, you can always open the faucet and pour a little out, and that'll help. But they work well. They've been made for over 100 years, and it's the same design. And they do work. They function well. Some of the issues you run into them is, first and foremost, if you're not serving beer constantly, even if you let it sit for like a day or 2 days, these things will freeze up, because what happens is the beer on the outside will dry the O-ring to the actual faucet, and they can be extremely hard to open and close. That can happen on any faucet, but it happens a lot faster on a standard faucet. So anyway, you've got the trap beer, you've got the older design, but they do work. So they also use a standard shank, which means that the shank would be the same as any shank on any other faucet. So let me jump to the Harlech flow control faucet. So this is a step up in a couple of ways. First and foremost, it allows for forward seal. So I probably should have taken that apart ahead of time.
No, you're doing great. And I thought you admit, first off, I want to throw him under the bus. He was like, I'll explain the non-flow control, and then James will explain the flow control, and then he grabs the Perlick.
So this is, well, no, but I said the competitor's flow control.
Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, actually, I said something that I'm not absolutely sure is correct. On the Perlick, I thought that it was. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm getting confused here, but I got it now. The Perlick is forward seal for one thing. It uses a ball, and that ball pivots up. One of the issues we sometimes run into with that is if it puts a little bit more pressure on one side or the other, as this O-ring starts to wear, you can get some dripping on that. But all in all, it's still a lot better design than having all that beer in the back and going bad and everything else. So it is nice that it's a forward seal faucet. The other thing on this one is that you do have flow control, but the difference with this flow control is that you're not going into the shank. You're staying in, so you can use a standard American shank. And the area that you're working with is extremely small. So the part where you do the restriction is going to be pretty much, I would say, tiny compared to what you'll see in a more traditional European. CMBecker would be a great example of that.
That's
flow
correct.
Control faucet. So the problem that you run into there is it will help you do some restriction if you're using standard line, and you put 5 feet of line on like you would with any other system. And then you're just kind of doing some micro adjustments, but you're not really able to do a full range adjustment. So what happens is if you get into a situation where the temperature's gone up and your kegerator or some other issues that would cause a lot of foaming, it's not going to give you a lot of control over that, but it will give you a little bit of control. So I did skip one. So should we go back?
No, you're good.
Okay,
I like the flow
this
of
is a CMBecker faucet, but it is not flow control. And the difference on this one, and what I really, really like this faucet, this is the V3S. With this faucet, you have a completely different system. You've got this cartridge, and this cartridge goes up into a very, very machined stainless steel area in here. And the way that it pulls in, it really seals uniform all the way across. So you don't get that leaking at all. Even if the O-ring starts to wear or it starts to push down a little bit, it's still the same amount of pressure all the way around. So it gives you extremely good flow. It gives you the advantage of not having that leak develop. And then last but not least, instead of pulling forward to pour the beer, you can push back and get a really nice creamy head at the end, which I use all the time. Of course, I'm using flow control, but that has that same feature. And I'm always adjusting the head on the beer to give that perfect amount of head that you see when you go into a bar, like in Europe or somewhere where they know how to pour beer properly.
Or they're not so self-deprecating
so
Americans.
That's the I would say non-flow control and partial flow control. And then James, why don't you explain the full?
Yeah, we've got our flagship faucet right here is called the V10. Now you'll see a lot of these in tap rooms. This is more of a commercial style faucet, but it's not a throwaway faucet. And the way we approach flow control at CMBecker is we use a whole different concept. And Todd showed you the compensatory part of the Harlech faucet, which is the little short barrel thing with the round end. Ours kind of looks like a bullet. And the reason why they do that is you get linear flow coming in and out. But to use this, you have to have a shank that's machined as you can see in here, for that. Now, what's cool about this, it's a much better way of creating resistance to the faucet. You can actually shut off the flow of beer with this faucet by using the compensator. In fact, we've got a prototype faucet that we're working on right now that doesn't even have a conventional knob. We use the compensator to shut the valve off. And we used it.
It's cool. It's got a really long lever. It's kind of a sexy European-looking
and it
faucet.
worked great.
Yeah, it worked great. Yeah,
so
really
if you can imagine not having this move to here, and then you're actually dispensing on the compensator, you create the resistance here in the shank area, and that creates your balance, where normally you would do that with a choker hose or a certain length of hose to create the resistance. You don't even mess with any of that. You don't have to have all this hose coiled up. Just this right here, and adjust the compensator. It's really, honestly, that simple. Now, like Todd alluded to, we've got a different way of shutting the beer flow off. These faucets come apart really easy. They're easy to clean. In fact, because of forward sealing, you can leave this connected, and you just take off the lever, and you can flush the wet area out and clean it. It's really easy to put back together.
That's a great thing. I use that a lot too.
So see, there's not a lot of moving parts, very few seals. We stock parts, and all of our wholesalers stock parts for these faucets. A funny story is I had a tap room in Denver contact me, and they were using V10s, the same exact faucet. And she called me and she said, "James, I need 36 faucets." And I'm like, "Woohoo, I'm right. All right, good day." And then I got to asking her more about it. She says, "Well, we've got a few that are leaking a little bit. We've had them for a fairly good amount of time." And I told her, I said, "Well, let's do a rebuild kit for all 36. You don't need to buy whole new faucets." And so we turned a very expensive purchase into not much. That's what the price is. These things are built to last forever. You can work on them. You can buy replacement parts. There's no need to ever buy another faucet.
I am also really good at talking people out of buying stuff from us. Like,
You have a great sales team, man.
you've seen it.
No, you know what? If you take care of people, they always come back, and they always recommend you to others.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that was Great Divide, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, that is such a cool brewery.
It is.
Good.
Yeah, they're the ones,
beer.
if you remember, that have the abominable snowman.
Yeah,
The Yeti. Yeah, the Yeti.
The oatmeal stout.
Yeah.
I believe it's oatmeal stout.
That's their
And they have an
mascot.
imperial one, I think, as well. They're good. I've had them before.
one thing I wanted to definitely bring up before I forget about it is that, Black Friday's in just a few days. When will this be released? When will people
Thanksgiving
listen to this?
Day.
Thanksgiving Day. Okay,
Yeah.
you said that earlier.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. So the day after this, you will actually be able to buy kits on kegconnection.com, and I believe on homebrewsupply.com as well, where you can buy a whole flow control kit and get the CMBecker faucet and get the shank, so that you're starting out the right way and you've got the complete system. We've been working on that for a long time and trying to decide how to make it part of our kits where you could change it out. And we finally decided that's never going to really work well. We just need to make completely different kits for that. So we'll have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 faucet fridge kit with the flow control. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and to help maybe dive down for some questions that weren't asked but will be asked.
Yeah.
So obviously, flow control is like ideal if it's in your budget and whatnot. But that shank, I know the first thing someone's going to ask, and it wasn't included on one of these, how universal is that in any like can a standard tower on a kegerator take that shank?
It can. The only thing a 3-inch tower can't do is add 2 flow control faucets. You have to use standard because of the fact that we've got so much going on in the shank that you have to have that area. So to put a 2 faucet flow control faucet on a kegerator with a tower, you have to have a 4-inch tower because there's just not enough room to put all that in there.
And that'll be our next step is we'll get some 4-inch towers in, and we'll actually make kits for tower kits as well.
Or those T towers that you have.
T towers work great.
Would be perfect,
and we will do that as well.
Yeah, that would be the better way to go because they're so much easier to maintain the faucet. You can attach them because the lid lifts up. That's the only way to go on a kegerator. If you're going to do a tower and you want flow control and you want to use more than one faucet, get a T tower. Super simple. You can use the short shank. We do have 5-inch and we have 8-inch shanks. So we've got every size you need for pretty much any application if you want to add flow control.
And we also, if somebody ever does want to do a T-tower and we don't have it on the site yet, it's something we can always quote custom. So.
Sure.
Right. You are no stranger to that yet. I mean, and I'm not even being facetious. A lot of what Todd, I remember especially in San Marcos, and I only say that because I'm not up here normally, but he would take all the custom calls and like, I remember you can't throw something at him that he can't find a reason to make, designing a beverage, a draft solution.
Right.
That's like that's your calling. I think
that's what we love to do here. So.
Some of us more than others.
Some of us just like to drink the free beer, but yeah.
Absolutely. Which we didn't bring this up, but I want to pat myself on the back because James complimented my breakfast stout.
Very good. Very good. Probably as close to Founders as I've had.
It was very good.
Probably one of the best stouts I've had this year.
It was excellent.
I wish I did anything other than follow the recipe, but
very good.
It felt so good when James tried it. And he was like, man, that's really good. I was like, you don't got to lie to me, man.
No, I was drinking it warm too, guys.
Yeah.
It was good warm.
Yeah, the transportation up here, that's the rough part. I wish I had a better way of transporting beer. Because like when I bring beer from here, I don't have to, but we prefer to let it sit a couple days just to let it, because otherwise you're just, oh, hey, it's foam. And I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, any amount of restriction or flow control can resolve that.
No, it's a temperature issue.
Yeah, we have a video on that because Todd gets asked questions all the time about managing a draft system. Yeah. And if you had $1 for every person who wrote in and said, I have foam and I don't know what to do, you'd have a lot of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've all had it. We had a terrible foam issue on a beer just a few weeks ago.
Right.
We finally decided we had actually over-carbonated it, and that's another one that's hard to fix. So.
That was all on me.
No, hey, he did throw you. So you weren't around when I called him when my dad and I were forced carbing it. Yeah. Or my dad was forced carbing and I was cleaning. And my dad was like, hey, the keg you're taking up there, should I force carb it? And immediately I was like, yeah, you should, but let me ask because some people want to do it.
You don't want me doing it.
That's what so I called Todd, said, well, why wouldn't you force carb? I said, I don't know. I didn't know if you cared or not. He goes, well, as long as you don't let James carb it.
Not my thing.
All in good fun.
Yeah.
All in good fun. You say it's not your thing. I don't know if either you have corrected whatever the issue used to be. I've never had one of his beers.
No, he does a great job. Man.
I know what happened.
He just had a small relapse on that one keg.
Well, I didn't check it. And here's another thing is if you got your beer kegged and you haven't checked it in a while, there's going to be a little bit of natural carbonation that goes on in the beer. So check it. Do a taste test. I did. Mr. Know-It-All just took it on my hip and started shaking it for 3 minutes. Oh, yeah, I tore it up.
Oh, yeah.
It was like whipped cream.
Well, I actually learned from that, James. I have to tell you, I forced carbonated 2 kegs on Saturday.
Yeah.
And one of them, I put on the kegerator and didn't realize it wasn't carbonated. I tasted it. I was like, oh, this isn't carbonated. And then I went, wait a minute. It is a little carbonated. Yeah. So I only did it for 1 minute. And I checked it, and then I did it for 30 more seconds, and it was almost over-carbonated.
Wow.
So if I would have done it for 3 minutes, I would have had foam for 3/4 of the keg. Yeah, so see, you taught me.
It was shocking how little I shook that day and how much it made whipped cream.
It was that
It was that bad,
yeah. See, that's what. It's things like that make me wish I was up here more often. Yeah. And then it's other times.
So learn from our mistakes. Check that before you start carving.
Alan made a good point in this question about flow control being expensive. And we've talked about this before, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. But if what your goal is perfect control over your pour, then it's an expense that you should work into your budget, arguably.
Sure.
For dispensing. Because like people write in a bunch on the podcast side and people write in a bunch on the retail side, asking, because they're, like I've mentioned before, their whole brew experience is more than just one component. It's what they're brewing on and that equipment that they're using, and they want to make sure they got that good. And then the dispensing side, they want to make sure it's good. I would argue if you ignore it, let's hypothetically say you have the brewing side down, and you're good on upgrades there. On the dispense side, flow control has always been my number one of like, even if it's an inline flow control, because that's what I use on my kegerator. That's now going over to my dad's house, so I guess his kegerator. I use inline just because I have 2 faucets and I wanted both of them to have flow control. And that was a very affordable solution.
Sure.
And I have the old V2G faucets on that one.
Yeah.
I love that design. It's very similar.
Yeah, they work great.
They are beautiful faucets. And I wanted those to have flow control. And I knew I couldn't replace both faucets with flow control. But on the dispense side, for me, yeah, like 9 out of 10 times if you ask me, hey, I've got a gift card for Christmas, and what should I spend it on? Faucets.
Definitely.
Well, I think people will be surprised when they see these new kits. We just went through the pricing and margin and everything, and we're going to be able to get them out there at a real affordable price.
It's the best time of the year.
Yeah, it's the most wonderful time
It's
of
the
the year.
most. Can you sing for it? No, we don't have enough money.
It's the
No. I'm going to
most-
have to cut that out. We can't license that. You have to hum a generic.
Do you really?
I don't want to get kicked off YouTube because of your fat mouth. Emphasis.
It's your idea.
You're right. I did ask you to sing. And then Jackie, to wrap up like her part of it. One, I love that she's brewing with her husband.
That is so cool.
I wish my wife would brew with me. She doesn't even watch the show. I was going to say, you listening, babe? But she's not. That's the funny thing, is she's not. I think we can all relate in here specifically, not just because of what we do in the industry.
Yeah.
Getting tired of bottling is not surprising.
I never got into bottling to begin with.
You never bottled? Have we talked about that?
Yeah.
You went straight to kegging.
Well, I'd already had a keg set up because one of the first things I ever did, I had a little shop, and we made the switch to keg beer. I had it already.
Oh, wait, you were using commercial.
I was using
And you were using
Sankey.
Sankey.
And then this was back in 2001. And you could buy corny kegs for, I remember the last 4 I bought on eBay was 4 for $20.
No.
Yep.
What year was that?
It's 01 or 02.
It wasn't from Todd Burns.
No, that's less than what we paid for them when we started the business. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dirt
Yeah,
cheap.
back
Were they
then-
filthy?
They looked fairly decent to me. I
Nice.
don't remember them
Yeah.
being too terribly bad, but that's what you could get. You could get 4 for
That's
$20.
awesome. eBay. Remember the heydays of eBay?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently it came back.
Now I think
Yeah.
the shipping on that was $50, but I got the kids for
Yeah, that's right.
$5 a piece.
I love that.
Rip-off.
I do that a bunch. I think there's a meme of someone looking at pricing on Amazon, and it's like one that says $3 for the product, but $4 shipping, and it's Drake going, no, but then it says $7 with free shipping, and Drake's going,
It's the same
Yeah,
price.
That's true.
It's all perception.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Jackie, upgrading, if you're upgrading your faucets, I think we covered it. Flow control, if you can, she didn't specify what kind of, I don't even say, did she even say teaser? No, that was Alan who said teaser. So I don't know if she's working with a teaser, like drill in, then have at it, upgrade as many as you need.
Yeah, then this one would get in the door. You may have to remove the insulation and like the inner liner, but that'll work perfect on a fridge door.
Yeah, and then if she's using a 3-inch tower, she can replace one, or maybe a good time to upgrade. Because towers, I don't know pricing off the top of my head, but that is also...
Well, yeah, call us and if we needed to upgrade, that's something where we definitely just replace the other tower.
And then she was right. We are obviously pushing her towards CMBecker faucets. I can't.
Yes.
There are a lot of good stuff out there, guys. Right now is the best time to do shopping, with it being the holiday season. But obviously, CMBecker faucets are what you should be getting. I mean, I don't know.
The best.
Yeah, the best.
The best.
I was so sad to hear CM could not make the brow.
Yeah, we missed him.
I love CM. The best.
The best.
He would show us a product like the faucet, for example, and just go, German, the best. And then our friend Danielle from Portugal, who
Everything's best in Portugal.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
French fries.
It's better in Portugal, huh?
Yeah, it's better, yeah.
This is good, but it's better in Portugal.
This podcast is good, but the Portuguese version?
No, the best. The best.
He's not lying. That's exactly how he is.
It's the best. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Thanksgiving while this is published. What are your quick before we wrap it up? What are your plans? You just sticking at the house?
Nothing going on. I'm probably gonna have a few beers, sit on the couch, and operate.
What's on tap?
I don't have anything on tap.
I thought it changed. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No,
mean
I'm out of homebrew beer, so I'm gonna be hitting the grocery store.
Oh, you have a lot of beer on tap, despite my best efforts last night.
Yeah, I have a brown, English brown, Comanche Kolsch, and a Pale Ale. They're all very good beers. Brewed by 3 different people. I brewed one, James brewed one, and Joe brewed one, right? So we got a good mix.
Yeah, and are you staying at the house, or at the ranch? For
we're having a bunch of family over.
Okay.
Yeah, we were like, just have an immediate family, and then we invited more people and more people and more people.
That's always the case.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have a good time.
If any place is suited for hosting, it's his place.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now he's got the new bar too. So.
Yeah, it's coming together.
Back bar.
Yeah, the back bar.
I need to finish the front bar now.
It's coming together. We're going to be in San Antonio, and we're going to take the rest of the Kolsch, your Kolsch.
Cool.
We have about 2 gallons of it left, and that's all I'm willing to share with my family. We're going to take that down there. We're keeping the breakfast stout up for Christmas.
I would hold it. I would hoard that.
We're keeping that up.
I'll keep it if you need me
I
to.
will bring it to you. Yeah, take that home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it won't last.
and then we'll
Where
have.
are you going? With family?
San Antonio. we're my aunt and uncle.
Cool.
They actually brew. They have a cider that's going to be on tap.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have a cider from them, and then we're going to bring the Kolsch. We're going to bring a growler of either the brown or maybe the breakfast stout. I don't know. And my dad wants to make. Speaking of bottling, how terrible it is. My dad actually likes the kitschiness of doing it.
Yeah.
And so he wants to make some 6-packs for people to take to
for
them.
Christmas gifts?
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be a
Yeah, so I don't think he's taking it for
Or
Thanksgiving.
you could do the bombers, the big ones.
I told him we get the big ones and just give.
And then you could do the labels on them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I would
Win-win-win. But anyway, so appreciate you guys joining me. We'll, I guess I'm going to be up here pretty soon because of all the craziness. So you can't get rid of me just yet.
No. We're ready for. We'll be ready for Black Friday, Thursday, about 11:59, right?
Yeah,
in the evening.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, and that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you can visit homebrewhappyhour.com and click on the Submit a Question link at the top of the page. Or now you can call or text them in by using 325-305-6107. Remember that ultimately this show is made possible by people like you. Consider joining our Patreon community by visiting patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and see the cool perks we have for our community. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.
This program is made possible by the checkbook of Mr. Todd Burns and by contributions to our newly launched Patreon by viewers like you. Visit patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and join our community. Thank you.